I think I called you the first time I got one of my papers back. I made a 78 on it, which in America is like a D. Like, that's not a good grade at all. And I was like crying. I was so upset, and I called you and I was like, oh my god, like I failed this paper. It's so bad. What have I done? And you were like, what grade did you get? I was like, a 78. And you were like, that's like
amazing.
Top marks.
It's amazing.
I was like, wait, what?
Hey, I'm here with Kim from the channel Expressive Kim, and we thought that for today's video we would talk a little bit about something that she has an awful lot of experience with. We are going to be talking about her experience of studying for a master's degree here in London. So first off, what did you study?
So just 2 days ago I turned in my dissertation. I studied marketing and brand management at Kingston University, which is kind of in Greater London.
So we thought we'd go through the whole process basically of start to finish, what it's like to study here in the UK. So the application process, which I imagine you did from America.
Yeah.
Because if you cannot tell from the accent. Also, my accent may or may not change. I apologize in advance.
Yeah.
But whenever she speaks, my accent from living in America goes really strange.
Yeah.
From applying in America, how did that all come about?
The process was really, really confusing because I didn't know anything about studying here, and anything that I did know I just kind of learned from Twitter. So at first I thought I was gonna have to go through like the UCAS system, and that was really confusing for me. But I just googled marketing degrees London and kind of found some of the top schools that that kind of came up in search results and things that other people had said they had positive experiences with. Ended up applying for Kingston because that was the program that most matched what I was trying to accomplish and what I was trying to do with my degree.
Did you apply for one university or more than one?
Yeah, no, so I just applied for Kingston. So it was kind of one of those, like, they either take me and I move to London or I don't move to London. My understanding of master's programs anyways is most people don't apply for a bunch of schools. They apply for one or maybe two that have the specific program that they're looking for, because master's degrees are much more specific and the school that you go to can make or break the degree that you get.
You've booked your flight, you arrive in London, and you're about to start your degree. So did you come here quite far in advance, or what was your like arriving here induction like?
Yeah, so again, it's going to be different depending on what country you're from, but for the United States you're allowed to move 30 days before your course date starts. So I was supposed to come 30 days before, but then there were some visa problems.
Always.
Yeah, there's a great video on my channel about losing my passport. I think the biggest thing for me was, I remember when I first started I was really upset because for some reason I had not been receiving like all of the emails, and I missed the like induction week that I wasn't aware I was supposed to go to. So make sure that, make sure that if you are moving abroad and going to like a university, usually there's some kind of like pre-thing before like the first day of classes. So if you don't get any emails like 30 days before your classes are supposed to start, maybe call them and say, am I supposed to have a university email I'm checking, or am I supposed to be getting something, because you might be missing some really important details and dates and things that you're supposed to be doing.
I worked in higher education here in England and in London as well, and we did a lot of induction weeks. So it was usually a week-long thing, and it's every day, and it's a great way to like make your friends.
Yeah.
That sets you up for the rest of the year, and you get to know the area, you get to know the university, you get to know your course, you get to know who you're going to be interacting with. So it is kind of a big deal. So you said that you found your housing in advance before you got here, and so your housing situations might be a little bit different, but what was your specific experience with finding housing in London, which is supposed to be one of the most expensive cities in the world? Yeah,
so they gave us the option to live in halls, but I had lived in halls for my entire undergraduate degree, and I did not want to do that anymore because I had kind of got out on my own. I had lived by myself in my hometown. I had lived in an apartment by myself here in London when I came to do an internship. So I was like, thanks, but no thanks. And the unfortunate part is that if you're not living in halls, the university is really no help to you. They don't really communicate or help you navigate the housing situation, which is why they offer halls. Because I was a student and I was an international student that wasn't living in halls, I was required to have a UK guarantor, and that's really hard when you move to a new country and you don't know anyone, and especially don't know anyone well enough to be like, will you sign on my apartment for me?
So a UK guarantor is where that person promises and has the evidence that they can fund you if you were to miss a rent payment.
Yeah, they needed your visa information, they needed all of this stuff that legally they had to have, and you're supposed to be there in person in order for them to do that. So setting it up beforehand was really difficult. We ended up being able to work it out, but I probably would not go through that process again. I think my housing situation this entire year, while I loved the apartment that I lived in, it was a complicated mess that I had a lot of negative experiences with, and I probably wouldn't do it again if I didn't have to. So I think if I had it to do all over, I might have either lived in halls or I might have lived in a smaller area or a smaller apartment with people who were already from London that could just kind of rent a room out to me, as opposed to trying to sign a contract for my own place.
And a good website for that is actually Spare Room, which is a website that I've used to find my own housing, as well as somebody who's from the UK and lived in London. And if you're just renting the room with access to the living room and the kitchen, but if you're renting the room, then it doesn't have to be extortionately expensive. It's when you want to look for studio apartments that it becomes just ridiculous. So when it comes to the schooling itself, how long was your course for? Is it a year, 2 years?
Yeah, so it was a year, so we did 3 kind of blocks, which is what I would call a semester, and then a dissertation.
Okay. And what was it like in terms of going to school? Was it every day? Was it, how long were the hours? Was it early? Was it late?
Yeah, so that was one of the, again, like with the housing situation, that was one of the things that I made a decision on, because each of the blocks, the heaviest block that we had, I only had class 3 days a week. So I didn't want to be living out in zone 6, having to commute in to see my friends or to do whatever I wanted to do in central London, which is why I lived in central, and then just commuted out to go to class, because realistically I only had class 2, max 3 days a week.
Coming here to the UK, did you feel like, I mean, again, this is going to be America to the UK, but did you feel like there was a step up in terms of how hard the coursework was, or what they were asking you to do in terms of reading?
For me personally, I did not find the coursework difficult necessarily. I think it was time consuming at times. We only had 2 grades the entire semester. So you had a group paper or project, and then an individual paper or project. And so it was a lot of group work, which was interesting. And then it was just the 2 grades. So it was either you passed it or you didn't pass it. And that for me, it just was really frustrating, because I'm used to a system where even if you're a really bad test taker or you're very bad at writing essays or something, it doesn't mean that you won't pass the course, as long as you can show to the professor that you are at least putting the effort in, and that you have improved, and that you have learned and kind of assimilated the information. The only difference, again, as well, is that here a 50 is passing. And that was like, that's failing in America. If you get below a 60 or even a 69, I think it's a 69 and below, you failed. So that was so, I was like, I just have to get a 50? Like, that's so easy. Like
anything that's quantitative, that they can actually like mark you in terms of very specifically this, yes, this is right, or yes, or no, this is wrong, then you could get out of 100, because obviously you could possibly get everything right. But anything that's sort of in the humanities area, or anything that's according to interpretations, you are lucky to get above a 70 ever. So if you get above a 70, that's like top grade. A big part of when you're here is not only going to be studying, it's making friends and it's socializing. And obviously London is an incredible city in order to do that, because there is just so much here to do that you will never fit it all in. But what was your, so you've been here for 2 years? 2 years? Okay, so how was your experience been with the social life of living in London and getting around?
As much as I hate to be that person that's like, oh, you should join clubs and organizations, even as an adult, especially when you move to a big city, the things that I did that helped me meet people was, one, I did YouTube and met all of my friends are YouTubers. There were a lot of organizations that I joined before I started doing YouTube that helped me meet people. I joined a board gaming club, so they go to different pubs every night of the week and play board games, and you can just go whatever night you're free and play board games with people and meet them that way. So I promise you, whatever you're interested in, when you live in a huge city, there are places that you can find other people who are interested in the same things, that meet up to talk about it, that meet up to like do whatever it is, that you should join them, because that's a great way to meet people.
There's a website called Meetup, meetup.com, meetup.co, I don't know, we'll put it in the description, but that one has, if you have an interest, you put it in there, it will find a meetup group for you. So that's one of the really good ways of being able to do that. And there are an awful lot of free things. You'll be surprised at how much you can do here for free. A good website to check is one that I've been working for, is londonist.com. They actually have a whole section on free and cheap, which is things to do that are free or under £5 in London every day of the week. So there are lots of things that you can do that is inexpensive. So it doesn't have to be crazy expensive to have a really good fun social life here. So as we prefaced with the beginning of this video, it's now coming to an end for you. You are graduating, you submitted your dissertation, and your flight is tomorrow morning.
Yep.
And you have to get up in an ungodly hour in the morning.
I do.
So what has it been like finishing up your degree, and also the job search that you've experienced after that? I know a lot of people probably think that they'd like to stay in the UK, but obviously we've got like huge political things with Brexit and all this other stuff that's happening right now. So what's been your experience of ending your degree?
I don't want to like discourage anyone, but amongst my friend group alone, we've had 4 people now try to get a job and stay, and none of them have been able to. It's really hard. There are obviously some people that are able to make it work and that are able to do it, and to those people, they have the best luck in the entire world, I promise you. It's not for want of trying. I've done since I've moved to London, I've done 3 internships, applied for numerous jobs, almost gotten multiple of those jobs, and the problem is that even if they want to hire you, it's really complicated to, if they don't already have a sponsorship license, it takes 3 months to apply for one, and even then there's payment requirements, there's requirements for paying for my visa, so it's really hard. I would say that if you're wanting to move here permanently, that you should have a backup plan, and that you should be okay with it not working out, which is a lot easier said than done. But as much as I would like to say don't get your hopes up, because I promise you're gonna get your hopes up, it's a lot easier said than done, and it doesn't always work out. And the people who it has worked out for most of the time have come on an ancestry visa or have family members who work here and are able to hire them through that. I thought, if I get my master's degree from a university in England, they can recruit me straight from university, and it does get rid of a lot of the red tape, but it doesn't make it easy by any means, and it doesn't necessarily 100% mean that you're going to be successful in that. And I think that's, I can't complain too much. I know that it's the same for America, even though I'm not as familiar with the American immigration system, but I mean, you had the same thing.
I tried as well, I was like, I've had a degree that actually, I had a scholarship, so they actually paid for my degree to have a master's out there. I worked for a year afterwards on what's called an OPT visa, and still I just wasn't
it's very
good
hard
for that. Thank you for talking about your experience with my viewers, and hopefully this has been useful, or if you're not even studying but you're just interested in the whole process of it all, here we go. That was interesting for you. We've also filmed a video which is more surrounding YouTube and cultural YouTube. What are we filming?
So on my channel we are going to be talking about how to leverage your amateur work into a positive thing for getting real life paid work. So this can be just YouTube, but there's a plethora of social media stuff that can be really useful to you as a millennial that can help you get a job, and we're going to talk about that.
So if you want to see that, the link to that will also be in the description. But thank you very much for being on my video, and if you have any ideas for things that you would like us to make videos about so that we can give you some more information, do let us know in the comments, and I guess we will see you soon. Bye!